Just waiting for this recording to kick on. There we go. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And we are going to talk a little bit about our products and services this morning, as well as how Brekke Tours can help you plan a perfect vacation to Scandinavia this year. So, before we get started, my name is Amanda Hancock, and on behalf of Brekke Tours, we look forward to introducing you to our own favorite corner of the world, which is Scandinavia. For those of you wondering about our connection to Scandinavia, we were founded in 1956 when Arne Brekke, a student from Norway, worked his way through graduate school in America by conducting summer tours in Europe. We are a family owned company and we're located in Grand Forks, North Dakota. We offer a wide variety of products and services, such as our own escorted tours, independent travel packages, customized tours for individuals, families, and groups, heritage travel, and cruises. Our goal here at Brekke Tours is simply to strengthen the cultural and ethnic ties between North America and Scandinavia by creating meaningful travel experiences. So, why do people want to visit Scandinavia? And there are many reasons, but I've summed up a few here. So, first is the natural beauty and phenomena of Norway. You have glaciers, fjords, mountains, forests, the midnight sun, the northern lights. These can all be found within Scandinavia. Scandinavia also has a truly rich history filled with Vikings, kings and queens, wars, great wealth, hardships, and so much more. And the culture of the Scandinavian countries are uniquely distinct, yet at the same time, they can be quite similar. Nature, family, education, and hard work are all highly valued by the folks living in Scandinavia. And most Scandinavians speak very good English, making it an easy place to get around. And speaking of which, the public transportation in Scandinavia is very good. There's buses, trains, and low cost flights to choose from, so it's easy to get from point A to point B. Another highlight is the food. You have fresh seafood, freshly baked bread, fresh fruit. These are all commonly found in Scandinavia. And finally, Scandinavia is a relatively safe destination. In fact, you may see babies sleeping in strollers outside of shops and restaurants. And so, why should you go visit Scandinavia with Brekke Tours? And first and foremost, we are a full service Scandinavian specialist. We have over 65 years of experience in travel within Scandinavia. We travel to our destinations and on our tours so that we can assist our clients with their vacations. Our escorted tours offer destinations you won't find on other tours, and you won't find our tours anywhere else. Both our escorted tours and independent travel packages can be customized with side trips to visit areas of heritage. We can add pre and post tour extensions. And if we can't make that work, we can create a completely customized travel itinerary just for you. Now, while on our escorted tours, you won't have to worry about any additional expenses for tours or sightseeing options. What you see in the itinerary is what is included. If you want to add a cruise or combine your trip with a visit to another country, that's not a problem. Our sales staff can help with those arrangements so that you only need one contact person for your entire vacation. And finally, when you travel with Brekke Tours, you can be sure that you will be treated as a valued client, not just another body in a seat. Our goal is to make your travel experience meaningful, which means providing you with excellent customer service from the first phone call until you return home from your trip. Now, when it comes time to start planning your trip, one of the first considerations is if you should travel with a group or independently. Both provide different experiences, so we've noted some benefits to each that you may want to take into account when making a decision. Under the escorted tour benefits, the number one reason really is that it's a worry-free vacation. You just sit back and relax. Someone else will do the driving, the luggage handling. All of our escorted tours include the transportation, first-class hotels, most meals, and an array of activities and experiences. You'll also have a knowledgeable and professional guide along to enhance and enrich your vacation. They provide cultural information about the country and sites you're visiting, as well as handling all the little details. An escorted tour is perfect for the seasoned traveler, as well as those traveling outside the U.S. for the first time. You'll also take advantage of group discounts, thus getting more for your travel budget. Now, on the reverse side of that, traveling independently allows you the freedom to travel at your own pace and choose the experiences you want to include. Independent travel is suitable for those who are comfortable traveling alone, may have limited time, or wish to stay in one place and explore the surrounding areas. Public transportation is readily available. However, if you need flexibility and wish to enjoy the countryside, renting a car is an excellent option. Although an independent itinerary may appear to be less expensive, please note that costs can quickly mount when adding food, transfers, and activities. So these are just kind of some things that we want all of our clients to think about when they're trying to plan their next vacation in the Scandinavia. So, first, we're going to talk a little bit about our escorted tours, what you can expect when traveling with Brekke Tours, and then we'll shift focus over to the independent travel so you can kind of see some of the differences. But first, I want to just kind of highlight what everyone will get to experience on our escorted tours. So, no matter which tour you decide to join, there are some key points that are included. The first of which, you are getting a good value for your travel budget. Scandinavia can be expensive, but by taking advantage of group discounts, many clients feel that they receive much more than they paid for. Most of our tours do involve a bit of walking each day. Now, with that being said, if you do have mobility issues, please call our office and talk to one of our agents. We'll be able to help ease your concerns and make recommendations based on your activity level. We do allow some free time in larger cities such as Oslo, Bergen, Trondheim, Stavanger, Stockholm, and Copenhagen. Our tours typically start around 8 to 9 a.m., and we try to have you at the hotel no later than 6 or 7. We also offer luggage handling at most hotels, and our tour director will meet you at the arriving airport and stay with you until you depart the tour. You'll also notice that most of your meals are included in the itinerary. We also try to include some special meals such as dinner at a local farm or a unique location. And for your comfort, all of our tours are on first class touring coaches. They have large windows, reclining seats, footrests, and even bathrooms on board. So you can sit back and relax while your wonderful driver chauffeurs you around in style. And all of our tours can be customized with pre or post tour extensions within Scandinavia and beyond. And finally, for all of our tours, with the exception of Land of the Midnight Sun, we include visits to Bergen and Oslo, as well as a journey through the fjord country. So you'll have a fjord cruise and a ride on the Flam Railway. In addition, you'll also get to see a stave church, which is one of the iconic symbols of Norway. While on our escorted tours, you'll meet a variety of people, but in general, these folks are from the U.S. They have ethnic ties to Scandinavia, and they enjoy learning new things and seeking out new experiences. On tour, you'll meet people that have traveled to other destinations around the world, as well as those that are experiencing their first trip overseas. And some other interests commonly found among our tour participants include history, embroidery, folk music, dancing and singing, hiking, and other outdoor activities. Now, again, another person that you'll meet on our tour is our tour guides and tour directors. So, our tour director will meet you at the arriving airport within Scandinavia, and you'll stay with them until your departing airport. Our tour directors hail from the US as well as Scandinavia, and English is the only language on tour. However, we do like to throw in a little bit of the local language just so those that are inclined can learn some new words and phrases. You'll also have local guides that will join the group for short periods of time. They are there to provide detailed knowledge about a city, museum, or historical site. And if you're unsure where you will be staying while on tour, it's not to worry. All of our tours included on our escorter tours are first class or superior tours class hotels. These hotels are usually found in the heart of major cities. They're within walking distance to main attractions. And so this allows you to have a good location if you want to explore on your own while you're in one of the larger cities. Now, in the countryside, we tend to use hotels that are along fjords or situated in the mountains, which are ideal for hiking or relaxing in. Many of our hotels we frequent are historic properties with interesting history. Maybe they served as a German headquarters during World War II, or they were transitioned from a warehouse into a beautiful waterside property. All of the hotels used will have private bathrooms with a shower or tub. You'll also enjoy a Scandinavian breakfast buffet every morning, and some hotels offer additional amenities such as swimming pools and guest laundry facilities. This provides a nice opportunity to freshen up while traveling. I talked a little bit about the coaches before, but you'll have a first class motor coach while on our tours. Whether it's one of our larger buses or the smaller ones, they have large windows, reclining seats with footrest, and personal comfort controls for the AC. And you'll also enjoy train rides through magnificent scenery, as well as cruises along the fjords and waters of Scandinavia. Just to give you an idea of what you can expect during a typical day while on tour, this is just kind of a short summary. So you'll start with the breakfast buffet at the hotel, and then the group will typically depart between 8:30 and 9, depending on what is scheduled for the day. We do include several stops throughout the day for food, bathroom breaks, and activities. And on board the bus, the tour director will keep the group entertained with information, songs, language lessons, and more. The group will arrive at the hotel in the evening, and usually there is time for a walk, relaxation, or even a swim before dinner. Now, before the group goes their separate ways in the evening, the tour director will advise of the departure time for the next day. Now that you know a little bit more about Brekke Tours and what you can expect while on tour, we'd like to offer some help when it comes to deciding which tour is right for you and your family. So there's some factors that you may want to consider. First would be the travel dates, as well as the length of the tour, what destinations you wish to visit, areas of interest, and of course, what you will do and experience while on tour. So the next few slides, I'll kind of break these down in a little bit more. So the first one obviously is, when would you like to travel? So we have 14 different tour departures in June, July, and August this summer. Our shortest tour is Splendor of Norway at 9 days, and our longest tour is Scenic and Historic, which is 14 days. Most of our tours are 11 days. Now, if you're wanting to visit a particular location, then this page may be of assistance. And so this is really would be nice. If you're watching the recording later, you can pause it and kind of flip back through the video to land on these slides. But if you're interested in, seeing Norway and Sweden, or Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, then either our Taste of Norway and Sweden or our Captivating Scandinavia tour may be of interest. If you have, family roots in the Telemark area, then maybe Splendor of Norway would be a tour that you'd want to look at. So really, it just kind of depends on where you may want to explore. For those that maybe have been to Norway before, maybe Land of the Midnight Sun, it focuses on northern Norway, so it's not destinations that you're going to see really on any other tour. So just some different options and places that you may want to look at. And then another factor would be areas of interest. What are you wanting to see? What are you wanting to do while you're in Scandinavia? So if you're a first-time traveler to Norway, then maybe Best of Norway or our Spectacular Norway tours would be an option. These are both 11 days, but if you're short on time, our Splendor of Norway tour might be a better choice. It's a little bit shorter, so it's only 9 days, but you still include a lot of the same highlights. And if you really want to see the fjords and you really want more of a leisurely tour, then Norway's Fabulous Fjords would be an option. You still get a lot of the highlights, but you spend a little bit more time in each location. For those with Norwegian roots in the Sogn, Voss, or Valdres regions of Norway, our heritage tour is a great way to reconnect to your heritage or an opportunity to introduce the next generation to Norway. And for those that want to see it all, you've got Captivating Scandinavia, which includes Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, Taste of Norway and Sweden, and then our Norway Scenic and Historic Tour. Another good page that you may want to stop on later. So just some highlights that I have picked out from each of our tours this summer. So if you're looking for a farm dinner, a tour that includes a farm dinner, then maybe Best of Norway or Norway's Fabulous Fjords would be an option for you. If you want to travel with a genealogist and really connect with your heritage in Norway, then our Sogn Valdres Heritage Tour would be just a great choice. So there's some different things that you can look at as far as what experiences that you'll get to have on each of our tours this summer. Now that you know a little bit more about Brekke Tours, your fellow passengers, we'll delve a little deeper into what you will see and experience while on our few of our 2024 Escorted tours. So I'm just going to go through some of the highlights of these tours really quickly, and then we'll move on to independent travel. So we'll start off with Splendor of Norway. This is our shortest tour at 9 days, and it's ideal for those wanting to get a sample of Norway before exploring heritage sites independently, or if you want to combine your tour with a cruise or an extension to Sweden or Denmark. We will start in Bergen, and then you'll travel to Voss, where you'll board the Flam Railway. You'll cruise along the Sogne Fjord to Balestrand, and then you'll proceed to the Hardanger and Telemark regions en route to Oslo. In addition to staying in some of Norway's charming hotels, such as the Kviknes Hotel in Balestrand and the Ullensvang Hotel in Lofthus, you'll get to enjoy visits to the Halperstad Stave Church in Vik, the Hardangervidda National Park Center, and the Norwegian Industrial Museum, which is where Nazis produced heavy water for their atomic bomb experiments. This is a nice balance of activities and free time on this tour. So if you have outside interests that you may want to explore in Bergen and Oslo, you will have time to do that. So you'll have overnights along the fjords. You get to learn about the German occupation of Norway during World War II. And it's an ideal tour for those wanting to see the highlights of Norway in a shorter amount of time. And being that it's a little bit shorter than our other tours, it also gives people some additional flexibility with their travel days. So if you have a bit more time available, you can easily add a stopover in Iceland, either to or from Norway, take an overnight cruise from Oslo to Copenhagen, or you can travel by train through the Swedish countryside to Stockholm. Although, if you really want to see more of Norway, you could join our next tour as well, which is Land of the Midnight Sun. So these tours would flow right into each other. And so you would see the highlights of Norway and then travel north to see the northern regions. So you will travel north of the Arctic Circle and experience 24 hours of daylight on this tour. So it will start in Trondheim, and you'll chase the endless sun across northern Norway, across islands and the coast to the Arctic capital of Tromsø. In addition to spending a full day sightseeing in the Lofoten Islands, you'll also get the opportunity to explore some sites important to Viking history, areas made famous during World War II, as well as learning more about the history and culture of those living north of the Arctic Circle in Norway. You'll also get to experience, of course, the never-ending daylight. So the northern regions of Norway are quite spectacular with its rugged landscape, sweeping views over the water. But living in this area is not easy, and we hope by the end of the tour you'll have a better appreciation of the hardships that the folks living here still face even today. Land of the Midnight Sun is an excellent tour for those that have visited other parts of Norway and are now looking for something a little different. Or if you have an interest in Norway's Viking history, the occupation of Norway during World War II, or just want to see the spectacular Lofoten Islands for yourself, this might be the tour for you. Now, next, we'll dive into one of our multi-country tours, which is Captivating Scandinavia. This is a 13-day tour, and you'll visit Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. However, if you only care to visit Norway and Sweden, then you may want to check out our Taste of Norway and Sweden. It's our other multi-country tour, and that includes all the same highlights as Captivating. However, the tour ends in Stockholm rather than traveling on to Denmark. So this tour covers a lot of territory in a short amount of time. You'll start in Bergen, and then you'll travel through Norway's fjord country to the capital city of Oslo. While you're in the fjord country, you'll enjoy a ride on the Flum Railway, a fjord cruise, and a trip across the Hardanger Bridge, one of the longest suspension bridges in the world. From Oslo, you'll cross into Sweden and visit Adala Horse Workshop, the home of Carl Larsson, which is one of Sweden's most beloved artists, and the lovely Uppsala Cathedral. In Stockholm, you'll visit the impressive Vasa Ship Museum, and if you're only joining the group for the Taste of Norway and Sweden tour, you'll return home after your second night in Stockholm. Now, for those continuing on to Copenhagen, we have even more sights in store. First, you'll explore Sweden's Kingdom of Crystal, which features a visit to Kosta Boda, one of the world's leading brands of glassware and art glass. You'll enjoy a traditional Swedish dinner and music in Vassö before heading to the next wonder, which is Frederiksborg Castle. It's built over 3 islands, and it was built by King Christian IV in the early 17th century. It is the largest Renaissance complex in the northern region. The aim of the building was to show off the king's status as a powerful European monarch, and I think he did a pretty good job. Now the castle is a museum, and it's richly adorned with symbolic and decorative elements. So after touring the castle, you'll continue on to Copenhagen for 2 nights in the city center. Your final day in Copenhagen includes a sightseeing tour as well as some free time to explore on your own. You'll then return home on July 10th after your whirlwind Scandinavian adventure. This is a great tour for those that want to experience a little bit of Norway, Sweden, and Denmark all in one trip. But again, if you're looking for something a little bit more leisurely with a focus on Norway and its amazing beauty, then maybe our next tour would be the one for you. And that one is our new tour for 2024. This is a 12-day tour, and it allows you to experience 3 of Norway's most famous fjords, the Geiranger Fjord, the Sogne Fjord, and the Hardanger Fjord. You'll spend 3 nights at fjordside hotels, so you'll want to be sure and bring along your camera because you'll want to record all of the beauty that Norway is famous for. You'll start in Norway's capital city of Oslo, and then you'll travel north through Hamar and Lillehammer to Geiranger. Here you'll spend the night at the luxurious Union Hotel, which overlooks the fjord. You'll then turn south and travel through Loen, Flum, and Lofthus, which is located in the Hardanger region of Norway. And this area is famous for its fruit orchards. And then finally, you'll arrive in Bergen, where you'll spend 2 nights before you return home. In addition to seeing some of Norway's most famous fjords, you'll also get to visit the Glass Cathedral in Hamar, the Winter Olympic sites in Lillehammer, the Brixel Glacier, drive across the Hardanger Bridge, and in Oslo and Bergen, you'll visit the Vigeland Sculpture Park, the Norwegian Folk Museum, and you'll walk through the wooden buildings along the Hanseatic Wharf. Another highlight of this tour is a full free day in Loen, and you can spend this day exploring the surrounding fjords and mountains. You could take a ride on the sky lift, or you could simply relax at the hotel. So for those that are wanting to see some of Norway's fantastic natural beauty, but still enjoy some of Norway's famous highlights, this tour is a wonderful option. Now, the last tour that we'll be discussing today is something a little special. If you have heritage connections in the Sogn, Voss, or Valdres areas of Norway, this heritage tour will allow you to explore those roots, all while traveling with a genealogist. You'll meet our genealogist in Oslo and travel with her through the Sogn, Voss, and Valdres areas to Bergen. Along the way, you'll have the opportunity to explore these areas and perhaps even reconnect with living relatives. Now, your first day starts in Oslo, and after a 2-night stay, you'll depart Fagernes, where you'll get to visit the Valdres Folk Museum. It's one of the largest open air museums in Norway. They have over 100 old buildings, and it's well known for their collection of bunads, which is the national costume of Norway. After a night in the mountains, you'll continue on to the fjord country. Here you'll visit the 12th century Hopperstad Stave Church and the fjordside village of Underdal, which is known for its goat cheese. You'll cruise the fjords, ride the Flum Railway, and visit the Voss Folk Museum before you arrive in Bergen. A special aspect of this tour is that time is allowed for visits for local family or for family heritage sites. Our genealogist will help with research before and during the tour, and with access to the Big the Book collection at UND, she's a great asset when trying to find roots in Norway. And if any of you have worked with Jean Marthaler, she is amazing at finding people and connecting you with um, resources that you didn't even realize were in existence. So she's fantastic. So, in addition to traveling with Jean, you'll also have the experience to, or have the chance to discuss and research your family history before traveling to Norway in hopes of finding more information about your ancestors, potential living relations, and areas important to your family's history. And if you want to spend a little bit more time in Scandinavia, we can certainly add an independent pre or post tour extension. We have several extension packages available, or we can work with you to create a customized package to any of the Scandinavian countries, the Faroe Islands, and beyond. So we're going to shift focus a little bit away from our escorted tours, and we're going to talk about independent travel a little bit. So if you're wanting to explore Scandinavia at your own pace, we offer a variety of independent travel options. These include our tour extensions, and then also we have fjord tours, self-drive tours, adventure tours, and winter packages. Our independent travel options can be found online, or if you'd prefer to have a customized itinerary created just for you, please contact our office. Now, if you're planning to travel independently, one of the first considerations is how to get from point A to point B. Traveling on your own means that you will have to deal with the unexpected. So, if this is something you wish to avoid, you may want to choose an alternative travel option. Sticking with your budget is another factor when planning independent travel. Costs can quickly balloon out of control if you aren't careful. Planning a large itinerary can be difficult, especially if you're unfamiliar with the locations and the different options. It's here that we can really step in and help. We can take the headache out of planning with our pre planned independent travel packages, such as the always popular Norway in a Nutshell. This can be done as short as a 3-day package, up to 6 or 7 days. You can also customize this package to include additional nights along the way. Our Nordic Delight Tour includes visits to the Scandinavian capitals of Oslo, Copenhagen, and Stockholm. Extension to Helsinki, Iceland can also be added. Now, Iceland has become a frequently requested destination in the past few years. One of the best ways to see this country is to rent a car and drive the Ring Road, which circles the island. And this can be done in as little as 9 days. So if you're looking for something to do during the winter and you really want to see those northern lights, you could travel to Tromsø, which is situated in the heart of the northern light zone. There's lots of fun and adventure to be had. And then if another option would be to travel to Iceland. There's a short getaway, and also Iceland is a great place to see the northern lights. Now, the nice thing about these packages is that they are all tried and true. We've done these, so they're things that we can certainly recommend for our clients. And if you want a trip that is created just with you in mind, we do offer customized tours for individuals, couples, families, and groups. We can include all the travel arrangements you need, including hotels, activities, transportation, and if requested, drivers and guides. Your tailor-made tour is based on your interests, areas of heritage, budget, and more. All it takes to get started is to call or email our office, and one of our staff will be happy to assist you. Just to give you some idea of what we've done in the past, we've worked with church groups, museums, the U.S. Lighthouse Association, choirs and bands, both in the U.S. and in Norway, dancers, World War II theme tours, architecture, quilting, art and music, agricultural tours, and more. So we have a variety of experience putting these customized groups together. So another independent option for Scandinavia is, of course, cruising. Hurtigrutens Norwegian coastal voyage is a very easy way to explore the northern reaches of Norway. You can sail from Bergen to Kirkenes in 7 days, or southbound from Kirkenes to Bergen in 6. You can also combine the cruise with a land package, such as traveling by train from Oslo to Bergen, and then you take the cruise up to Trondheim in order to explore the Geiranger Fjord and the Nidaros Cathedral. Hurtigruten also offers a variety of cruise itineraries featuring Spitsbergen, Iceland and Greenland, Europe, Antarctica, and more. All right, so now we're going to turn our attention to some questions. So I'm going to start out first with questions that were submitted on the registration form, and then I'll open it up for any questions that you may have or that you've thought of during the presentation. So first off, what clothing should I pack? So that's probably our number one question. We always recommend bringing clothing that you can layer. Casual clothing is the norm for our escorted tours, and you'll want to bring good walking shoes. You'll also want to bring a jacket and perhaps a raincoat. Other things you may want to pack include an umbrella or poncho, snacks, medications, including over-the-counter medicines like aspirins. You might also want to bring sunscreen and a small day pack where you can store sweaters, a water bottle, and your snacks. Another question that we often get as well is, when is the best time to visit Scandinavia? And this is a really tough question to answer because it's really a personal preference. Now, if you would like to travel during the warmest months, June through August would be the best options. You can expect temperatures in the 60s and 70s in the lower regions of Norway, and in the 50s and 60s in the upper regions. If you would like to avoid crowds, you may wish to travel in May or September, as the weather is still nice, but there are fewer visitors. If seeing the northern lights is on your bucket list, you will want to travel between November and March. You'll also want to plan your trip north of the Arctic Circle for the best chance to view the lights. The next question would be physical requirements. So a typical day on an escorted tour will have 2 to 3 hours of walking, but it's broken up over the day. At some stops, you may only have a 5-minute walk, whereas others it may be 10 to 15. So for those with mobility issues, you always have the option of whether you want to take part or not. So if you do have questions about your mobility or your traveling companion's mobility, please call our office so we can have that discussion with you and see what might be the best option. How many people are on a tour? The number of people traveling together on one escorted tour can vary, but typically you can expect 30 or more on our more popular tours, and about 20 to 25 on some of our more out of the way tours, such as the Songvoss tour or Scenic and Historic. We do only operate one bus though, so at the most you would travel with is around 40 people on board. Will we have free time while on tour? Now, all of our tours do include a bit of free time so that you have the opportunity to pursue your own interests. Many people take this time to explore art museums, go shopping, or visit with friends and relatives that are in the area. If additional time is needed for a particular visit, we can help with those arrangements. Just please contact our office and we'll be happy to help you with those. Can I add extra days? Of course. If you would like to spend a little bit more time in Scandinavia or would like to take a day out of the itinerary to visit family heritage sites, our staff is happy to help you with these plans. We can add an extra hotel night, we can book an extended stay, or figure out how to get you from point A to point B and then back again. That is what we are all about. And we had a few more questions. Flights from other cities. If you live outside the Minneapolis area and wish to join one of our tours, it's not a problem. We are happy to provide you with flight options from your home city, whether you live on the East Coast, Canada, or even Alaska. To request a quote, simply contact our office. Now, exchanging money. With the exception of Finland, who uses euro, kroner is the currency used within each country in Scandinavia, and they are not interchangeable. So I'm going to repeat that. They are not interchangeable. So if you're planning to travel to Norway, you can obtain Norwegian kroner at your arrival airport by exchanging US dollars or simply withdrawing an equivalent amount of kroner from an ATM. You can check the current exchange rate at oanda.com. And most places in Scandinavia will accept major credit cards such as Visa and MasterCard. And in fact, some vendors don't even accept cash anymore. So it's a good idea to have a credit card or two along when traveling. Now, for those of you that may want to travel on our Captivating Scandinavia tour or Taste of Norway and Sweden, just to reiterate, each country has their own money or monetary system. So there's Norwegian kroner, there's Swedish kroner, and there's Danish kroner, and they're not interchangeable. So it's something that you will have to think about. And we actually do have plans for having allowing money to be exchanged when we cross borders. So how do you handle food allergies? Now, if you're traveling with us on an escorted tour, breakfast at the hotel is included each morning, and this will be a buffet-style breakfast with a variety of options available. Dinner at the hotels is also usually a buffet. So we do ask clients to advise of any food allergies or aversions so that we can offer substitutes when there is a fixed menu planned. Hotels and restaurants are usually happy to offer other selections as long as they are notified prior to the group's arrival. So we do ask for that on our tour registration form if you have any food allergies. So it's something that we try to plan for ahead of time. How are single travelers accommodated? If you're traveling solo on one of our escorted tours, you have a couple of options. First, you can request a single room for a supplement, or if you're open to sharing your room with another traveler, provided that there is another traveler of the same gender that also wishes to share a room, we will put you two in touch before the tour departs to make sure that you will both enjoy your trip. So you have the two options. You can choose to travel alone and you'll have your own room. It's no problem. If you're open to sharing a room to avoid that single room supplement, if there's another traveler that also wishes the same thing, we'll put you two in contact before we depart. Make sure that you guys will be okay sharing a room, and that way you can avoid having to pay that extra fee. And then do I need a special plug for my devices? So Scandinavia, like most of the world, runs on a 220 volt, while the US runs on 110. So if your device is dual voltage, all you'll need is the plug adapter. So that's this black one that's down here. It just changes the plug into the two round prongs. However, if your device only runs on 110 volt, you'll need a converter, which is the larger device, and it typically costs around $25 to $35, whereas an adapter will run you about $5. So, all right, I'm going to open it up for questions. Let me do that real quick. And while everybody can, down in the bottom right-hand corner, if you do have a question, feel free to type those in and I will try to answer those. While people are sending those in, um, here is our contact information. So please feel free to give us a call, send us an email, visit us online. You can download our brochure from our website. We can also send you a brochure if you would like a hard copy. We do have somebody asking about trip insurance, and yes, we do. So when you are thinking about signing up for a tour, we will send you a registration packet, and that information, there will be travel insurance information in that packet. So you can choose to purchase that travel insurance plan. But I always recommend a client to maybe do some shopping just to make sure that the plan works for them and that the premium is in line with what other companies offer. So um, let's see, gratuities. So we have somebody asking about gratuities. So on our tour, we do include gratuities for the hotel staff. So that includes like the people handling the luggage and the housekeeping. However, we do leave gratuities for the tour director, the local guides, and the bus driver, up to you guys. And if that's something that you wish to do, We do have recommended amounts, and then we include that in our travel tips information that we send out to all of our tour participants. So, average temperatures in Norway, usually you can expect anywhere between the 50s and 70s, depending on where you are in Norway. So if you're up in the northern regions of Norway, it's going to be a little bit cooler. You're probably going to be closer to that 50-degree mark. But if you're down south, it'll be more like 60s and 70s. So if there is free time, do you offer suggestions? Yes, we do. That is one of the things that your tour director can help you, say, I really want to see this piece of artwork and I know it's here in Oslo. Can you help me find it? That is one of the things that your tour director is there to help with. Um, and then we can also make recommendations ahead of time too. So yeah. Oh, somebody asked about how quickly do the tours fill up. We actually have some tours that are pretty close to being sold out. So I always recommend to clients to book sooner rather than later, just to make sure that they get the space on the tour that they want. We do have a couple of tours that are pretty full. And like I said, we do try to cap the tours at around 40 people. So after that, we don't really take any more. We might have to put you on a waiting list, and we hate to do that, but we don't like to overfill our bus either. So uh, is there a tour only to Svalbard? We don't have a land package to Svalbard available through us, but it is something that we can certainly do on a customized basis. And then there are also cruises with Hurtigruten that go to Svalbard. So it's something that we could certainly help you with if you are interested in traveling up to the Spitsbergen and seeing that area up there. Information on car rentals, car insurance, and gas charges. Gas in Norway is expensive, I will not lie. If you would like a quote for a car rental, that's something that we can certainly give you. It really will just depend on your dates and where you're picking it up and dropping it off. There can be quite a variety of car rental prices. And also, there are one-way drop fees to take into consideration. So if you pick up a car in Oslo and you're dropping it off in Bergen, usually there is a one-way drop fee that has to be paid locally. So there's a lot of factors that are involved when coming up with a quote for car rentals. So Dorothy, if you wouldn't mind just shooting us a quick email or calling our office, we'd be happy to get you a quote. That is not a problem at all. We'd be happy to do that. For gas, though, I can tell you, I think it's about $10 a gallon right now. So it's quite pricey. They do offer manual and automatic transmission cars. So if you're like me, you can't drive a stick, they do have automatic cars. And then depending on the type of car, it might be diesel or it might be just regular gas. Again, there's just lots of variations. If you have a preference, that's something that we can try to put that in. And they even have electric cars in some places available too. So just different options. But I would, Dorothy, if you don't mind getting in touch with us, we'd be happy to get you a quote. Okay, what is the recommended method of getting around on your own during free time if you're going more than a few blocks? So there is public transportation. Of course, there's taxis. I have not used Uber in Norway, to be honest, but I do believe that is available in the bigger cities. Public transportation is a pretty easy way to get around, and a lot of times, because we are in the city center, you'll find that walking is probably the best and easiest thing, unless it's just all the way across town. And if that's the case, then I would say probably a taxi would be the most convenient. And that's something that the hotels can help arrange there locally. What airline do we use for traveling to Norway? All of our escorted tours are with Iceland Air. That's not to say that that is the only airline we use, though. So if you're coming, say, out of Chicago or you're coming from New York, you have other options as well. There's Scandinavian Airlines, there's Delta. So we really just try to look to see what would be the best option for those that are traveling from other cities other than Minneapolis. But or if you have airline preference. Say you prefer to travel on Delta, that's something that we can help you with. Are you able to upgrade seats? So if you want to upgrade to like a first class or business class, that is something that we can do. Iceland Air offers a Saga class, which is not quite business class because the seats don't lay flat, but they're upgraded seats. They're bigger, and you get more amenities, things like that. So we can certainly upgrade you to Saga within our group block. Otherwise, if you're just wanting to upgrade to like SAS offers a comfort, I think it's called comfort. Um, that's something that we could do as well. So it would just be on an individual basis, and we can certainly provide you a quote for that. That's easy to do. So, all right. We have any other questions? I don't want to take up everybody's time today, but you guys have had some good questions coming in. If you do think of something later, again, please feel free to call or email us. We'd be happy to answer those. I always think of questions later. So we do have somebody sending something in. Hiking opportunities. Oh, there's lots of hiking opportunities. On our escorted tours, like I said, we do have, some free time. So, when you're in Flum or when you're in Vos or even in Bergen, I mean, there's opportunities just almost everywhere. Um, and if you're traveling independently, we can really get you some amazing hikes. There's the Pulpit Rock that's in Stavanger. There's um, just some amazing hikes within Norway. Trolltunga, which is like a full day, 14-hour hike. It's crazy. Um, so if something like that is in your interest, then please let us know, and we can make some suggestions just depending on where you want to hike. I've actually hiked up to Pulpit Rock. Um, it's a half, well, with everything combined, it's like a full day hike. It's amazing, totally amazing. Do you offer discounts for referrals? Not at this time, but it's something that we might be able to do in the future, but at this time we do not. Medical coverage and phone use. Okay, so medical coverage, that would kind of fall in with the travel insurance, because the travel insurance would help a lot with any kind of medical emergencies that you may have overseas. And depending on your medical insurance here, you may want to have the travel insurance just as kind of an added benefit if your travel insurance doesn't offer any assistance outside the United States. Phone use. So this would be a lot of times you will find that you don't necessarily need like an international phone plan unless you just want one, because we have Wi-Fi usually on the buses and you'll have Wi-Fi at the hotels. So it's pretty easy to use like a FaceTime app or a video chat app. There's WhatsApp. There's lots of applications now that you can download to your phone to use your phone or to make phone calls using the Wi-Fi. So yeah, so I've traveled, all through Norway and Iceland, and I've never had an international plan. I've always just used Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi is usually pretty good. So unless your international plan with your cell phone provider is reasonably priced, and that's just something that you want to do, then maybe it's not something that you need. But again, it's just kind of a personal preference. Safety concerns in larger cities. So the larger cities, uh, Oslo, Stockholm, Copenhagen. Obviously, the pickpocket type thing, that's something that people always have to worry about when they're in larger cities, especially if you stick out as a tourist. So it's just something to be aware of. But there's so many things now that you can do to prevent that. There's purses and wallets and things like that you can put like in your front pocket, and purses that can't have the straps be cut and things like that. So it's just something to be kind of aware of. Other than that, I mean, unless you go really looking for trouble, I've never had really any issues in any of the large cities within Scandinavia. Um, but it It's like any big city. I mean, as long as you keep your head on, I think you will be okay. Credit card transaction fees. So that is dependent upon your credit card. Some credit cards do not charge a foreign transaction fee. So, if your Visa or MasterCard does not charge a foreign transaction fee, that might be the one that you want to take with you. Otherwise, sometimes it can be like 3%. So I would definitely call your credit card company before you leave, which you'll want to do anyway, because you'll want to tell them that you're traveling outside the country and what countries you're going to be visiting and what dates you're going to be gone, so they don't put a fraud hold on your card. So something to check on before you leave. We're interested in spending time in Gotland with relatives. Yes, so that could be something that we could certainly help you with. So if you would like to spend a little bit more time, either before or after a tour, give us a call, send us an email, and we can help you with that. How not to stick out as a tourist. Um, I would, I think the best thing is just to not, I don't know, how do I say this? Um, as long as you're not, like flamboyantly dressed, I guess. Although there's some pretty flamboyant people that I've seen in Norway. Um, I guess you're not walking around like taking pictures every 5 seconds and things like that. And I think of like the old time pictures with like people with their cameras and their socks and sandals and that sort of thing. But that's not necessarily a thing nowadays. So, um, I the bigger cities, because you have such a mix of people now, it's kind of hard to really stand out unless you just are really trying. And obviously, you're probably going to be visiting places that are of a tourist attraction. But when you're out walking around on the streets, as just if you kind of blend in with the traffic and things like that, I guess yeah. Uh, that one's difficult. That one might have to do some research on. So thank you, Vonnie, for that question. I'm gonna have to research that one. How not to stick out as a tourist. So I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'll send you some thoughts. um, One thing that I did not mention, and that I probably should, for anybody interested in traveling outside of the USA, whether you travel with us, you travel to Scandinavia on your own, whatever the case may be, your passport. Please be sure to have your passport. Check the expiration date. If it's within 6 months of your planned return date, then you might want to go ahead and get it renewed. And the renewal times right now are kind of long. I haven't checked recently to see what those were, but 2 to 3 months, I think, is kind of what it was averaging. So just something to really think about if you are planning to travel outside the US. Check that passport, and it's the book. Don't do the passport card. You need the book, the blue book with the stamps and your picture and all that jazz. So. Um, and if you don't have a passport yet, I would definitely get on that right now. So, all right. Any other questions? Again, I hope I've answered any questions that you thought of during the presentation, and during the presentation. But if you do think of something later on, or if you want more specific information, please email us, please contact us, and we'd be happy to do that. Um, Bonnie, I'm going to get back to you on the not sticking out like a tourist, but I do appreciate all of you taking time out of your day to join us and to learn a little bit more about who we are and what we offer. So I'm going to leave you guys looking out over Flum, and so this is the heart of Brekke Tours, where Arnie Brekke originally came from. So as you can see, you could walk outside that hotel right there. That's the Fretheim Hotel, and go explore some beautiful nature. So we hope to see you guys in Scandinavia with us this summer. But if not, safe travels wherever you're planning to go, and we hope that we can help you sometime in the future. So Thank you so much again, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.